Hyperconverged Infrastructure, or HCI. Many HCI vendors claim that they can also have integrated backups into their solutions. I'm George Crump, and I'm here to explain why that's utter and complete nonsense. So let's talk about this. So here's the pitch. HCI solutions have deduplication built into them, and they also have snapshots. And the claim is that if I have those two capabilities, a snapshot clearly can give me some point-in-time capability. So if I need to go back to yesterday's volume or the day before that's volume, I can do that. And then dedupe gives me the ability to, if I have volume A out here, and it's scattered across these nodes, and I make a copy of volume A, we'll call that cleverly A prime. Well, because it's deduped and I make the copy, nothing actually copies. It's 100% the same data, right? And so all the information about that data is stored in something called a metadata table somewhere within the HCI infrastructure. Now, the HCI vendors will go to great lengths to explain that they have redundancy within their metadata, and that if one node fails, they still have access to all the metadata and everything's great. What they don't talk about is that metadata has, in the past, corrupted. The chances are low, but you are talking about all of your data being gone. So just like the chances of you getting hit by a hurricane is pretty low, you still take measures to protect yourself. The other problem that I have with this sort of philosophy is snapshots are not backup either. Snapshots are a really good component of data protection, but one thing that snapshots don't have is the ability to find stuff. Like a snapshot, you can mount it and you can see it, but you have to manually mount it. And so it's really good for like yesterday's backup or last hour's backup or something like that. But all these guys, again, will claim that they can take thousands of snapshots. Well, what if the information you need is in snapshot number 997 and you don't know it? Are you supposed to mount 997 snapshots until you find the right one? So some sort of an index and catalog is a requirement, which, of course, backup solutions all have. Now, the overwhelming flaw here is this is all running on the same software within the same cluster, right? So and even if it's being replicated offsite, which will be the other thing they'll talk about, it's still all under the same software. If that software in any way, shape, or form has a problem, you could be at a very catastrophic data loss situation if you don't have the data secured somewhere else. So what we suggest is absolutely leverage these capabilities that the vendors talk about, but they're generally short-term things. What you want to do is take those snapshots and feed them to a secondary backup infrastructure, which will have its own disk, its own ability to go to cloud, and maybe even its own ability to go to tape. And one of the things we're looking for here that's lost on this sort of HCI being backup mentality is you want some level of data diversity. You want your data on other technology than just one, just in case that technology develops a problem. And so to me, that's one of the big advantages of tape still, is that it is uniquely and fundamentally different than anything that's going to be hard disk based. If you just don't like tape, and I get it, well, I don't get it, but I'm not going to fight you on it, then you can use the cloud, and that's at least diverse enough, and at least we're not running under the same software at that point, that we've got some air gaps in between what's going on up here and what's going on here. So key thing, HCI is not backup. You want data diversity. You can't count on dedupe and snapshots all being managed by the same metadata controller and table to be the kind of the knight in shining armor for you. You want to move it to a separate backup environment. You want that backup environment to support some sort of backup disk. You certainly want to be able to support cloud. And then ideally, you probably even want it to support tape. And that gives you some really good diversity. So not against HCI, not against using HCI snapshots, but combine them with proven technology to make sure that in a disaster, you're able to recover.